Hi ho there, it's Jordan Peterson, and welcome to BuzzFeed. Now, since you have clicked on this website, I assume you're here to take Jordan Peterson's personality test. It's going to be a good one, and by the end, you'll get to know if you're more of a baby Yoda or a Darth Maul. Not only that, but also try Jordan Peterson's Breaking Bad personality test. We've got, are you Walter White, which means that you're a strong white conservative male? Or maybe you're a Jesse Pinkman, a chaotic liberal drug addict. That's right, I'm Jordan Peterson, and I work for BuzzFeed now. Please, please don't make me cry. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and welcome back to Ruben Uncut. Before we begin, a tiny prayer. Dear Lord, forgive me, for I am about to give some of my hard-earned money to Jordan Peterson in the selfish pursuit of content and viciously mocking an old, definitely mentally ill old man from Canada. Please, Lord, forgive me for these actions. Amen. Also, I got a new microphone. This episode is the pilot for it. I hope it works out okay. Because today I am going to be doing the extremely questionable act of taking Jordan Peterson's personality test online. It is $10. I'm not happy about that. Not happy about giving money to Jordan Peterson. If you really cared about helping people, it would be free. A personality test you have to pay for is definitely a sign of a grift, by the way. Also, it's vaguely cult-like. This is the kind of this is literally what Scientology does. And Scientology also claims to be about psychology. So Jordan Peterson and Scientology have a ton in common, like a lot. If you're watching this on Spotify, you get to see video. Fun, right? Because I'll let you watch it with me. Although I'm not going to share my credit card number with you. All right. So, let's take a quick look at this first before I part with my hard-earned credit card number. This is the website. The most comprehensive and accurate personality test currently available. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, lead researcher. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you a secret about sales, because I used to work in sales. So I worked on phone sales, and what happens is it starts off, Jordan Peterson has already fucked up one of the rules of sales. So, when a call comes in and gets connected to one of the salespeople when I was selling insurance, that would first go to another person who was called QA. And QA's job was to assess how likely this person was to be a sale and then connect them to a salesperson. And one of the things they do is it was their job, although I don't think it was technically in the description, but what they were told was good practice, was to say before greeting, say to you before you got to say to the customer before they came through to you, the salesperson, was, oh, hey, I'm going to connect you to Ruben. He's one of our best salesmen. He'll really help you out. You know what they tell you not to say? You know what the salesman is supposed to avoid saying? hey, I'm one of the best salespeople here. And they specifically tell you not to say that. Why? Because a person is more likely to believe that someone is a good salesperson from secondhand word of mouth from another person than they are from that person. Like psychologically, Jordan Peterson should know this shit. Like the fact that this website starts with him complimenting himself, already this is a bad sales technique. And it's bad. It's poor idea psychologically also. Jordan Peterson really knows how the brain works, doesn't he, people? This is very egotistically, like literally, it starts off, at first, it's called Understand Myself, and the first thing on the page here is the most comprehensive and accurate personality test currently available. Quote from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, lead researcher. I'm sure this is going to be very humble. All right. Let's see what this says here. Rediscover yourself. Developed by a team of world-class psychologists led by Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, the Understand Myself Personality Report provides a multi-dimensional view of your beliefs and aspirations to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Okay, so here's the thing. It keeps me mentioning Jordan B. Peterson because this is a cult thing. And they're selling you on a cult of his personality. This is simple, efficient, affordable. Fuck you. Reveals strengths and potential weaknesses. High resolution and accurate test. What does high resolution test mean? Is it just telling me the website has good graphics? What is happening here? What is happening here? Proprietary comparison sample. Custom relationship report. Oh, God, there's a video. Do we need... Oh, fuck, we're going to watch the video. No, we are not going to watch the video. It's 21 fucking minutes.
An announcement today. We just put up a website called understandmyself.com, and it's a personality assessment for individuals.
All right, the sound quality on this part is probably going to be shit. I apologize.
And it's based on a personality model that was developed in my lab about 10 years ago by Dr. Colin D. Young.
Why is Colin D. Young's name not all over this? Oh, right, marketing. The real brainwashing.
And Dr. Lena Quilty, Dr. De Young is now a professor at the University of Minnesota. And it was based on some ideas that I had been developing with another former student of mine, Dr. Daniel Higgins, who's a partner with me in this enterprise, along with my former graduate supervisor, Dr. Robert Peel from McGill University. It's based on the Big Five personality model, which measures extroversion, which is a positive emotion dimension and is associated with gregariousness.
Okay, extroversion. I object to the concept that extroversion is always positive. Some extroverts are fucking psychos. Or just don't give a fuck. Also, why are those pictures of Jim Carrey?
And enthusiasm and assertiveness and sociability and that sort of thing. And a trait called neuroticism, which is basically negative emotionality, which is associated with a proclivity towards anxiety.
Fucking Woody Allen? Fucking. He's got Woody Allen here as an example of neuroticism. That makes sense.
Agreeableness, which is compassion and politeness. And so agreeable people are, I would say, broadly speaking, rather maternal in their orientation. They tend to care more for others than for themselves. They're more cooperative than competitive, whereas so-called disagreeable people are more competitive and more brusque, I would say, and perhaps more straightforward and more able to stand up for themselves as well.
I think I might not need to take this test. I'm agreeable.
That's orderliness and industriousness. And the last dimension is openness to experience, which is a combination of interest in ideas, which is often known as intellect, and
something
interest in
Jordan Peterson
aesthetics,
lacks.
and which is associated, let's say, with creativity. And that's the dimension that's
Also something
most
Jordan
highly
Peterson
correlated with
lacks.
IQ. We developed the Big Five aspect scale in an attempt to take.
Reminder, everyone, any reference to IQ is technically a reference to eugenics.
The Big Five, so that's extroversion, neuroticism, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and
That's not 100% fair, but it is fair.
openness to experience, which are the canonical dimensions of personality. We developed the Big Five.
Are there going to be ads in the middle of this ad?
Big Five traits, each of them into their two most statistically robust subcomponents, and we call those aspects. And that's actually become a pretty popular personality model. The scientific paper which announced that statistical division has accrued about 750 citations, which is an awful lot of citations.
I don't think,
by the way, for a scientific paper, makes it into a kind of classic, especially because it's also only had 10 years to.
Side note, Jordan Peterson always looks a tiny bit red around the eyes, like he's been smoking weed or crying.
Anyways, I've been working over the last couple of years.
Based on everything, I would say probably crying.
Personality reports on each of the Big Five traits and the 10 aspects at about 7 different levels of specificity, ranging from extremely low to extremely high. And we think we've produced what might be the most comprehensive and accurate personality reports that are currently available. You answer 100 questions in order to complete. Okay, no, it's 100 questions. We're not wasting time on this video. I'm sorry. Thank you, Jordan B. Peterson. That was an incredibly dull and uninteresting. I'm not going to make you all listen to that. I'm not going to. You just explained everything that's on this page. Extroversion. Okay, so this bothers me. The little fucking star circle graph thing he's got. I don't remember what they call these things. It has extroversion on it, but there's no introversion, as if which would literally define introversion as a lack of, like, when you have subpar extroversion. Like, so in this situation, I mean, is he classifying neuroticism? It says withdrawal. Fuck it. Let's do this. Let's get this the fuck over with. $9.95. Oh shit. Where would we get a coupon? I don't have a coupon. Fuck it. I wish I had an email. Okay, no, we're gonna use the show's email. And now I'm going to stop screen sharing. So you motherfuckers don't try to come for my money. Outdated. All right. Now that I've done the clandestine action of entering my credit card number, we have to create a motherfucking account. Which is not... This better not be a fucking reoccurring purchase. Okay, bro? And if it is, I'm coming for you. You hear me? Fucking coming for you. By that, I mean I will use an app on my phone to cancel this subscription and be angry at you. Angry at you. Oh, I understand what I did wrong. I understand. I just fixed my sound system. It may or may not sound better right now than it did a few minutes ago. And that video sound would now probably work. I know. Ruben, you pre-record this. You could cut this moment out. But I feel like taking you along for the ride. Also, I'm lazy. By lazy, I mean every time I sit down to work on something, it feels like if I don't hurry up and get it done, I won't be able to get the next thing done. And so I just sort of spaz out. Okay. God damn. Okay. So
Ruben. I'm creating the account now, so I'm entering the email to the show, which you can reach the email of the show at rubenuncut@gmail.com. Feel free to send me your comments, compliments, complaints, your incredibly weak defenses of your cult leader, Jordan Peterson. Whatever you want to send in. I know what you're thinking. Ruben, you should have started doing this before you started recording. To which I say, I'm about the journey, bitch. Okay. I need to make sure I save that password to the Google password menu. Okay. All right. Here we go. We can get back into this. I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, I get it. All right. What do we got here? The Big Five aspect scale. The system is designed so that the users are only allowed to complete the assessment in a single time. The personality test is based on a statistical model that presupposes single administration. Redoing the assessment after seeing the results would introduce bias in the scores, rendering the assessment invalid. Thus, please answer carefully and thoughtfully the first time. Describe yourself as you are, the majority of the time, not as you would like to be. Be as honest as possible so that the results are maximally informative. So, heads up, if this was a thing you wanted to take, I'm about to spoil it for you. So if you feel like you would want to waste your money on this, now's the time to stop listening. But if you're not a fucking idiot, keep listening. Are you a man or a woman? I am a man. What's my date of birth? Here we go. What is the format of this test and the rationale for that format? You will soon be presented with 100 phrases that will look like this. I am sad much of the time, or I frequently compliment people, and asked to indicate the degree to which you agree or disagree with the phrases as it applies to you. Phrases were derived from a large pool such items and sorted statistically into five. I do not blame you if you skip ahead of this. If you do it on Spotify, I will know. But if you want to skip ahead of this, go ahead. Each of the 5 primary dimensions is derived from the answer to 20 questions, each of the 10 secondary dimensions from 10. Thus, although there is some room for interpretation with regard with each phrase, the scores for each trait and aspect summed across many items tend to be quite accurate and stable. Some Big 5 personality tests use single adjectives, others use full questions. Phrases have been identified as a reasonable compromise between the generality of the former and the specificity of the latter. How many times can I take the test? I feel like they already said this. You may only take the test once, but I'm not going to bother to read that. It already explained that on the other page. What the fuck? Who's your editor? Jordan B. Peterson. Is it Jordan B. Peterson? What conditions should surround me, and what state of mind should I be in to answer these questions? As you can only take the test once, you should answer the 100 questions carefully and thoughtfully. Answer them so that they describe you as you are typically or on average in your day-to-day life. Please consider the following seriously. It is best not to take the test under conditions that will make you more self-critical. Okay, so no acid. No problem there. If you're hungry, eat something first. I will
If you are hungry, eat something first, as hunger will make you more negative and judgmental. I got a really high IQ score when I took my IQ test in college, and I was starving during it. I think hunger might make you smarter, make you more critical thinker. Someone go take Jordan B. Peterson's food away. No, I'm kidding. He's way too skinny to survive that. Man would snap like a twig. If you are feeling unhappy or more anxious than usual, pick another time to complete the questions. If you are currently depressed or suffering from an anxiety disorder, then your results will be skewed unreasonably towards the negative, so it's better to wait to assess your personality until you are more stable in your emotional response. What the fuck, bro? I do have an anxiety disorder and I'm typically depressed, but like, what good is this fucking test if chronic conditions would disqualify you from the fucking test? Like, who do you want to do psychology for, Jordan? People who need help or people who are just walking around with, I mean, like everyone needs therapy, but like some people have more baggage. Like, Jesus Christ, what? Jordan B. Peterson, you are an incredibly fucking ableist psychiatrist. 5, if you are rushed, wait to answer the questions until you have time to think. I'm not going to rush. I'm a long form performer here, son. Side note, I recently did a podcast where I talked to another person about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it was it was like 15 or so minutes short of 4 hours, and like part of me was like, motherfucker, if I could have gotten another just 15 or so minutes in there, I could have been as long as Zack Snyder's Justice League. God damn it. Just this close to epicness. All right. If you are likely to be interrupted or distracted, wait until you are alone and can work without hurrying or being disrupted. Well, I can't promise people won't drop in on me. If you have satisfied the conditions above, and you are a neutral, relaxed state of mind, you can begin the assessment process. I am beginning to think I should have sat down for this. I might sit down at some point during this. Personality rating task. The following pages contain a series of items describing characteristics that may or may not apply to you. For each item, please use the scale to indicate the extent to which you feel the item describes you. All right. Please indicate the degree to which each phrase accurately describes your personality. Seldom feel blue. Alrighty. As a child, my parents told me I was like Eeyore. You know what? It's probably more of a 2. I'm not, they're not asking me about, they're not asking me how often wait, no, they are asking me how. You know what? I'm going to have to go with strongly disagree, even though that's weirdly worded. I am not interested in other people's problems. I am interested in a lot of people's problems, to be honest. But sometimes people's problems are inane. Like, if you have Seinfeld level problems, you can just shut the fuck up. Carry out my plans. Is that supposed to say I am not. Okay, so on this page. Okay. So. Am I supposed to be implying an I or carry out my plans? I'm doing this and I plan to do this. So I can't say that I never carry out plans. But if you may have noticed, I didn't plan it very much. So yeah.
I'm not good at planning, and sometimes I just don't make them, and I just let things happen. It's very zen, but it's also stressful as fuck, and also doesn't make you a good partner. It will not make you good in relationships. You have to like in a relationship. I have the problem where I will agree to do things with a partner or for a partner, and when I say I will do them, I mean it. But if I don't do it immediately, I will forget. Or at various points remember to do the thing and be like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I better not do the thing right now. I'll do it in the morning, and then not do it in the morning. Or something will happen. I'll be like, oh, it feels wrong to do it right now. I'll deal with it later. Yeah, no. So I got to do things right away. It's a problem I have. So I do not carry out plans very successfully unless there's money involved. Money is a very effective thing, I find. I don't plan well for those things either, though. Make friends easily. I actually neither agree nor disagree with this, because I see, like, when I make friends, I seem to be pretty good at that. When I actually make the friend, I seem to be pretty good at that. But I am a hermit, and like sometimes I find my making of friends to be very hit or miss, and I struggle with a lot of introversion. You know what? I'm gonna go a little bit disagree on that. Like, I'm not the worst. I clearly make friends better than some people in life. I am aware of that, but it does feel like something I struggle with a lot now that I'm an adult. I am relatively quick to understand things. What am I saying? I am quick to understand things. That's fair. Although I need context. Like, if I'm frequently in meetings where like I have no idea what the fuck people are talking about. If it's about finances, my brain's just like, no. Get angry easily. Not as much. Not as much. But I am an angry person, but I don't like, I go through a lot of things without getting angry, and then certain things will get me angry, and like it's just like, how is this the thing that's getting me angry when I went through all that shit that other people would have been angry about? Do I respect authority? That's so fucking vague. Ah, like yes and no. Like, I respect. So I took karate, and karate taught me a lot about understanding like certain types of hierarchies, and the type of hierarchies that exist in karate are both artisanal and communal, and also about a personal journey at the same time. The assumption is that at some point everyone will make it through all the ranks, and that's kind of good. That's like, I think that's a positive type of authority. But like there's so many leaders that are total pieces of trash in the world. You know what I mean? And like and like and like authority can be very like I'm not sure if in this question if we're talking about law or if we're talking about like, would Jordan B. Peterson consider himself an authority? I'm gonna have to go with neither agree nor disagree, because there are times when I do and there's times when I don't. I do leave my belongings around. I'm a messy person. I'm working on it. I'm working real hard on it. I've gotten into regular vacuuming, which means I have to move stuff to vacuum, and that kind of sometimes gets things in their place. So yes, I do leave belongings alone. Take charge. Am I take charge? This one's hard for me to answer because generally speaking, most of the time, no. Because generally speaking, I am not interested in authority over things that I don't understand, or that I am not a big part, or that I am not up on, or that I feel like other people could do better than me. That being said, I have led and directed lots of people doing improv, which is a thing I do feel like an authority on. And I am very much capable of taking charge in that when I need to, and I know that I can take charge in a scene. But you know what? I'm going to go with neither agree nor disagree on this one, because it's not a thing that it's a thing I apparently can do, but I don't really put into the rest of my life. Enjoy the beauty of nature. I would agree with that. I only didn't put strongly agree because I don't go out as much as I should. I'm an up here guy. It's all going on in my brain. Okay, this next section is page 2 of 10 pages in this task. I am Phil. Like, why can't it say I? Why can't he put the I? Actually bothers the shit out of me. Like, sometimes I look at these questions and I have to read them a couple of times to be like, what the fuck? I am filled with doubts about things. Doubt is my religion. All we know is that we know nothing. Strongly agree. I feel others' emotions. This is true. I don't know if I would call myself an empath. In fact, actual like empath people, that's a weird sentence. Like, how do you measure it? Have told me that actually I'm not sure. Like, so a psychic lady at a pagan festival once told me that essentially that I am like an emotional sponge, that I am just someone who's walking around in the world with no emotional armor, and that other people's emotions will just I will, like, she said I would suck them up through my feet, which I don't what does any of that mean? But I do find that I'm frequently overwhelmed with other people's emotions, and that it's very hard for me to process them, and that I instinctively want to help people that feel these emotions, and that's not always a valuable response to other people's emotions, believe it or not. Somewhere some guys are like, what? But I want to fix all my girlfriend's problems. No, she doesn't want that from you. Unless she has a lot of codependency issues, then maybe she does. I waste my time. What the fuck? Okay, this question specifically is horseshit. Why? Well, let's quote John Lennon. Anytime you wasted in enjoying yourself was not time wasted, or something like that. Like, this, like, waste of time. This may be the most like this may be like the most subjective thing on here. That being said, I'll give it an agree. I like to be unoccupied most of the time. I am hard to get to know. This is true. This is apparently true. One too many friends have told me that when they first met me, they thought I didn't like them. Which, is weird to me because I genuinely like most people. I don't tend, if I meet a person in real life, I don't tend to dislike them. There are a couple specific personality types that I've noticed that can like really that make me have a hostile response to them, but generally speaking, not many people fall into those personalities. But yeah, no, apparently I am hard to get to know. I have difficulty understanding abstract ideas. No. No, all I do is abstract ideas. Although sometimes I do need to see a picture. I don't know if that counts, but like generally speaking, it's practically what I do for work. Rarely get irritated. You know, I don't get irritated very often. That's not true either. This is one where I struggle because like my first thought is I do get irritated, but I don't normally get irritated with people is the thing. Also I don't know if getting irritated in the car counts. Because I feel like the second anyone steps behind the wheel of a vehicle, they automatically lose 10 points of good people, of being a good person. Like it just boom. Like if you're driving, you're automatically less of a good person than you are the second you step out of that car. It's a fact. Although it is nice to know that there's a thing you can do every day to make you a better person. Just step out of the car. And you will be a better person than you were when you were driving the car. This does not count for passengers. I'm going to go with neither agree nor disagree on that one. I feel like I get irritated a healthy amount at this point in my life. Although my parents did used to compare me to Eeyore. I believe I am better than others. No. What a fucking stupid concept. I don't think anyone's better than anyone else. It was a dumb idea. I like order. Do I like order? No, I gotta go with actually neither agree nor disagree. I'm a very chaotic person. I live a very chaotic life, but I don't dislike order. And order is a big part of storytelling. Order is a big part of movies and comic books and the things that I love. But being familiar with the creative process, I know how much actual chaos is part of that order. So I don't think I could say that I like or dislike order. I have a strong personality. I have been told that I do. I once was told that's why I got a part in a play in college. I got cast as the lead in a show called Ubu Roy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ubu Roy, but it's basically Macbeth on drugs. It's a French absurdist comedy piece, like proto postmodernism type deal, written by an alcoholic. It's a hell of a fun. But basically, the director was like, "Yeah, I knew it had to be you or this other guy, because you have the strongest personalities in the school in the theater department." And I was like, "Okay, that makes sense." I was honored to be. It was one of the few times I've gotten to be in a show and be the leading role. It's fucking a show I didn't write myself. I've been the lead role in some shows I've written myself. But that was fucking dope. Character actor. You don't get a lot of leads. Believe in the importance of art. Hell, the fuck yeah. I strongly believe in that. That's like my whole deal. All right, we got a page. Shit, we still got a lot of pages to go. Where's my... Oh, damn it. I put my drink all the way over there. All right. Sugar to keep me going. Caffeine to keep me awake. Phosphoric acid to weaken my bones. Let's roll. Shout out to Dr. Pepper. Feel comfortable with okay, I feel comfortable with myself. This one I wish was more specific, because there are parts of me that I'm very comfortable with, and then there are parts of myself that I am not comfortable with. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with a little bit disagree, because I do have a dysmorphic disorder. So probably not totally comfortable with myself. I guess what I would say is there's parts of myself that I like, but I'm not 100% comfortable. All right. Inquire about others' well-being. I do. I will say there is a part of me that is afraid. I do this all the time, but there is a part of me that is afraid to do this, because I'm almost afraid that something will be going on with a person, and then I will be overwhelmed by whatever's going on with them, and I will just feel so bad for them, and I want to do something. And like the thing is you never know when that's coming when you ask about people's well-being. I'm bad at protecting myself emotionally, is what I'm saying here. But yeah, I do inquire about others' well-being, although it is something I didn't do as well when I was young, and I don't think for the same reasons that sometimes as an adult I struggle with it. As an adult, I mostly do it all the time. Find it difficult to get down to work. I didn't see ADHD on your list of things here, Jordan Peterson. Are you anti-ADHD? Do frequently find it difficult to get down to work. I like to work. I need other people to work effectively. Like, I can easily get a job done if another person is involved. But if I'm left to my own devices, it's like there's no starter engine. Keep others at a distance. I do. It's not all intentional, but I am currently struggling with letting people in. I can handle a lot of information. I don't know how to answer this one, because the answer is yes and no. If it's math, no. If it's a narrative, yes. We're going to actually neither agree nor disagree on this. Also, directions, can't take directions at all. Maybe this one should be a disagree. I can't. I don't know how to answer this one. I'm going to go with neither agree nor disagree again. Get upset easily. Now, this, like, okay, so so get upset easily is vague. It's actually unbelievably vague, because upset can be angry or sad or even scared. It's on upset is technically on almost could be on every section of the emotion wheel except happy. So what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I will assume it's not angry, because it basically asked the same question with angry earlier. So I will assume that they mean, I'm assuming it's not scared. I'm going to assume it's like a sad upset. Or do they mean, they could have at least put, and if they meant generally upset, they could have just put it generally. Fuck you, Jordan Peterson. Fuck you. Okay. Here we go. All right. I would say I am a sensitive soul. Sensitive soul. Always have been. I do hate to seem pushy. That is actually a problem that I have. I do hate to seem pushy. That's a really big problem that I have. That might be why, unless I'm doing improv, I have trouble taking charge. Those might be related. Keep things tidy. I would show you my desktop icons, but some of them are for work, and that could be an issue. Lack the talent for influencing people. I don't know if it's that I lack the talent. I honestly have no idea how effective I am as an influence on people. But I do know from working in sales that I don't like to. I'm not sure I'd say I lack the talent as much as the drive. Like there's just maybe it was because it was sales. I don't know. Like just the concept of like influencing people feels, I mean, like here I am making a podcast and I'm saying it's a ridiculous statement, really, like that I feel gross thinking about influencing people. It doesn't really make sense. It's like a weird personality paradox issue. Um, because I am not driven to influence people, I'm not sure how actually to assess my actual ability to influence people. Um, I I feel like I need to either give this the 2 or the 3. Fuck, we're going with neither agree nor disagree on that one. I actually don't know. I don't know how to assess my ability of that. Love to reflect on things. Strongly agree. I do like to reflect on things. Unfortunately, sometimes your brain reflecting on things is also a problem because it makes you not everything you're going to reflect on is positive to reflect on. Feel threatened easily. Not generally. I have a few key insecurities that can be pretty easily triggered. But generally speaking, most of the time, no. I'm not easily threatened. I do not feel easily threatened. I do not feel threatened easily. God damn the grammar in this motherfucker. Can't be bothered with others' needs. Wow. I'm gonna strongly disagree with that. I live in fear of being bothered with other people's needs, but the second people are like needs, like there's a part of me that's like, I can't not help you now. I know I know the problem exists. Let me inside. Although that's also, that's also how you get into trouble, I'm finding. Anyways. No, stop, Ruben. Don't do that. You're going to alienate people who can't handle it. All right. Actually, I'm gonna go with that one because after hearing myself talk about it, I'm like, well, maybe I do have some slight issues there, but generally speaking, I would say I'm a fairly altruistic person. I have had some recent experiences at work where I really felt like I messed some things up. So I do feel that way. And I don't know if I would feel this, I would answer the same if I hadn't just had like some things they weren't important. Don't worry. My boss was like, you don't need to be this upset about this, but still, like, I do frequently feel like I mess things up, especially interpersonal relationship things. It's the reason I'm a hermit, because I find contact with human beings traumatic. Reveal little about myself. I can be a gross oversharer, But recently, I think I've entered a different phase of my mental health where now I am having trouble sharing what's going on in my head. Um, excuse me. You know what? I am actually gonna like this one's hard because I'm not most of the time I'm not really deliberately holding back. Like most of the time I'm just vibing and I'm just saying whatever hits in the moment, you know? But if a person starts talking to me, if a person asks me questions about myself, I will practically tell them my whole life story. But I'm not here volunteering it normally. Not anymore. I'm not okay. Like to solve complex problems. I do not. I hate problems. Um, keep my emotions under control. So it's hard to answer, but I think I'm going to go glass half empty on it. Take advantage of others. I really, really try not to. And it is actually one of my big fears is that this is a thing I might do unconsciously. I don't know if that's a thing. It's a thing I need to talk to my therapist about now that I've said it out loud. I don't know if that's a very paranoid thought to have. Um, I know there was an incident where I was in a hard time and I didn't know what to do about a thing, so I dropped off a cat with my parents. Uh which I'm not proud of that, but like shit was whack at that point in my life. But I would say that I am going through life trying really hard not to do that, not to be that person. And I don't think on a good day, I don't think I'm that person. But on a bad day, I worry that I'm lying to myself and that I'm just as bad as everyone. Follow a schedule. I can, but I don't. I follow habits, which is not the same. I do know how to captivate people, I'd like to think. Would you say that I'm captivating? Do I captivate you with my general thing I do here? Do I captivate you? Get deeply immersed in music. No. No. I can't say that I do. Oh, to be clear, part of me thinks I should put a 2. No, it's a 1. Music is cool, and I frequently have music just going on in my head, but like I find music to be understimulating. Music without lyrics, more so. Although music without lyrics is more adaptable to background stuff, but I'm not going to get lost in it. Okay, we're halfway there, I think, if I understand this thing correctly. Rarely feel depressed. I am dysthymic. Strongly disagree, although medication helps. Medication helps. Sympathize with others' feelings. I tend to, yeah. Finish what I start. Philosophically, I have issues with this one. But I would say that I've got more unfinished scripts than finished ones. I've got like maybe so I do have some finished ones. So I'm gonna have to go with disagree. Although I hate to say that because it feels like I'm like putting bad mojo on myself. Like, oh, that's a thing I believe about myself. The part of me wants to put a 3 if neither agree nor disagree, but while I do finish some things, it's definitely not the record holder. Warm up quickly to others. No. Like, I like people most of the time, but that doesn't mean I know how to talk to them for like the first few weeks of knowing them. Avoid philosophical discussions. Fuck you. I'm generally down for philosophical discussions. I find it more interesting than talking about, other shit. Change my mood a lot. No, not really. If like something unexpected like upsets me, like that will change my mood, but I don't have like, I wouldn't say I have mood swings that I'm aware of. I do avoid opposing my will on others. I hate the idea of imposing my will on others. It freaks me out. It possibly to a neurotic degree. Oh, is this? I wonder if this question is going to be listed as positive or negative. Is this all a build up to fascism? Anyways, I am not bothered by messy people. I will say that I have a limit. But generally speaking, not really. I'm not bothered by messy people. I have a limit, but I have to be concerned for you before it bothers me. Most of the time, unless I'm doing improv, where when I do improv, I'm actually holding back a little bit because I want to give other people a chance to do shit, But like half the time in improv, I could go in and I could dominate, and I don't do that because that would be dick of me. But generally, most of the time in life, yes, I do wait for others to lead the way, because I know other people are capable of conceiving of plans ahead of time. I do not. I like poetry, okay. It's not my favorite, but I would say I disagree with the statement that I do not like poetry. Definitely. I worry about things. Strongly agree. Am indifferent to the feelings of others. I feel like they've asked this question differently already before. I am not indifferent to the feelings of others, unless those other people want to explain to me their thoughts on Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm not getting into that. I regret making that joke. Don't put my mind on the task at hand. Probably. I'm not sure I understand this question entirely. I don't put my mind on the task at hand. Like if you're doing physical labor, you kind of don't want to or need to. Like when I'm cooking, like when I was working in kitchens, like I knew exactly what I was doing, like beat for beat, and like your brain could just go away. It's one of the few jobs I did high all the time. Because I could. You wake up, you smoke a bowl, you go in and you make fucking omelets for people. It's easy. Rarely get caught up in the excitement. Oh, shit, that's a little bit true. I rarely get like full on excited. I'm not talking about boners here. I get plenty of boners. I get some mean boners. But I regret making. God damn it. Problem with making a public podcast is that you'll make a joke and then the party will be like, "Oh, my parents are gonna hear this." But yeah, no, I'm not easily excited. I can get excited. I have been excited. I have experienced that. But Zack Snyder's Justice League only comes out like once in a lifetime. Avoid difficult reading material. Yeah, that's probably accurate. Rarely lose my composure. If I'm sober, I will probably be able to keep my composure. But I got a lot of deep trauma just waiting to fuck my composure right in the ear. So I guess we're gonna go neither agree nor disagree. For I am a sensitive soul, and this is the eternal struggle. Rarely put people under pressure. This is a thing that freaks me the fuck out because I don't want to pressure people, but like I know from experience that sometimes you don't mean to pressure people, and you are, and it's. I used to have a job where a certain amount of pressure was required for you to put on people, and I hated that. I kind of agree with this, but I'm sure there are people who know me who would say that I've made them feel pressure. I don't know. I'm neurotic. I'm definitely going to score high on neurotic. I want everything to be just right. I'm gonna somewhat disagree with that. See myself as a good leader. Neither agree nor disagree. Seldom notice the emotional aspect of paintings and pictures. That's an interesting question. I wonder what that's going to be about. I am easily discouraged. Agree. Take no time for others. Disagree. I do take time for others, but I'm bad at setting boundaries around it. Get things done quickly. I'm going to disagree with that. I am not a very enthusiastic person. Am I? I don't get is this is different than getting excited, right? Like that's different. It's got to be right. I'm gonna neither agree nor disagree with that one. Have a rich vocabulary. Indubitably, motherfucker, I have learned extraordinary words in my many years of reading and studying the arts of colloquial commentary. Just trying to stuff in swears and big words at the same time. Okay. It feels weird to put that. I feel like I'm being honest there. There are probably people who have better vocabularies than me. Am I a person whose moods go up and down easily? I am a person whose moods go. Strongly disagree. I insult people, not intentionally. I can't say I don't because I've already insulted Jordan Peterson on this podcast. But generally in my day-to-day life, it's not a thing I reach for. I am not bothered by disorder. I am disorder. Can talk others into doing things. I hate having to talk other people into doing things. I like to just ask people and then be like, oh, yeah, sure, I could do that. And that's the end of the conversation. I do need a creative outlet. Strongly agree. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Thank God. I am not embarrassed easily. Strongly disagree. I find embarrassment heavily traumatic. Like my childhood. No, like embarrassment is the main trauma for most. That's not entirely fair. Take an interest in other people's lives. Generally, I do. Although I don't seek it out. Like I really love hearing people's stories from their lives, but I'm not looking for people. I don't seek people out, I guess is what I'm saying. Always know what I'm doing. Strongly disagree. Show my feelings when I'm happy. People can't seem to tell when I'm happy. Wait, can I tell when I'm happy? Jesus, I'm going with neither agree nor disagree. Think quickly. I can. I am not easily annoyed. This is true. I am not. But there's always one friend in the group who fucking gets to me. You know what I mean? Always at least one. But generally speaking, not easily annoyed. I see conflict. Strongly disagree. Oh, God. That would be... Ugh. I dislike routine. I'm going to go with disagree. I'm going to go with neither agree nor disagree. I'm not good enough at routine to know if... No, I think I do. Like, I don't know how... The thing is I'm laissez-faire routine. Like, I have routine, but none of it's planned. It's just sort of like I started doing things that way, and then I just kept doing things that way. So I don't know how to answer this one. I do dislike routine, I think. No, I hold back my opinions. I didn't used to. I'm going to say that I don't. Because, yeah. Seldom get lost in thought. Strongly disagree. Always getting lost up in that bitch. I become overwhelmed by events. Agree. Especially events with high novelty for me. Don't have a soft side. I have a soft side. Very soft. Postpone decisions. Strongly agree. Have a lot of fun. Do I look like I'm fucking fun to you? I'm going to put neither agree nor disagree. Learn things slowly. It depends what we're talking about. Depends what... If you mean selling insurance, it did take me a little time. There you go. Neither agree. No, you know what? I learned how to read when I was 10. The internet's going to go... If I ever make any enemies on the internet, they're going to go crazy with that. Get easily agitated. Not really. I say that, but like, if I do something stupid, I will be easily agitated at myself. But generally speaking, no. Okay, love a good fight. Like, could you make like what? Like, do you mean do I love getting into like fights? And if so, do we mean physical? Do we mean like relationship-based fights? Is this a sporting question? No. If this is about interpersonal relationships, then the answer is hell no. See that rules are observed. Yeah, kind of. I believe in standards, I guess you could say. And the first to act on stage, yes. In real life, only if I have to. Seldom daydream. Strongly disagree. I'm afraid of many things. Strongly agree. Like to do things for others. I actually don't. I compulsively do things for others. I feel obligated to do things for others. Do I enjoy it? Not really, but I do think it's for the best that I do it. Because I'm a man. I'm easily distracted. I agree with that. Laugh a lot. I don't know if I laugh like... I feel like I laugh more now. But I'm going to neither agree nor disagree with that. Formulate ideas clearly. I hope so. If not this podcast, I don't know what you're listening to. Can be stirred up easily. Like, once again, like, what are we... Like, could you be more specific? Like, I'm just stirred up easily. Like, are we talking about angry? Are we talking about excited? Are we talking about engaged? Like, what the fuck? Go with neither agree nor disagree. am out for my own personal gain. I don't really have any objectives. I want every detail taken care of by somebody else. I do not have an assertive personality. I kind of have to agree with that. I mean, I do assert myself. And actually, because I speak so confidently, people often think I am asserting myself when I am not. I just talk like that. It's very uncomfortable to be aware of that. See beauty in things that others might not notice. I will agree with that. I do sometimes. Yay! We fucking did it. Well, I fucking did it. And you got to save $10. Assessment complete. Congratulations. You have completed the assessment. Click to continue to review your report. You can connect your assessment with assessments with others who has already completed it. Once connected, you will have access to relationship reports that will include assessment scores, results for both you, and a description of what you might expect from being in a romantic. Oh, I should have known this was about fucking. I should have known. Jordan Peterson, you creep. Okay. Agreeableness, moderately high. You are moderately high in agreeableness, which is the primary dimension of interpersonal interaction in the Big Five personality traits scientific model. Agreeableness has two aspects, compassion and politeness, which will be explained separately. Oh my God. Agreeableness is very complex trait with marked positive and negative elements all along its distribution. Because of this, higher scores and lower scores need to be explained at the same time. I am in the 74th percentile for agreeableness. Your score puts you at the 74th percentile of agreeableness. If you were one of 100 people in a room, you would be more agreeable than 74 of them and less agreeable than 25 of them. People with those 25 are the bitches. People with moderately high levels of agreeableness are seen by others as cooperative, warm, and considerate. They are likely to look for and even sometimes see the best in others and are interpersonally tolerant. This sounds accurate. I'm getting concerned. An attitude that is much valued by agreeable people are interpersonally tolerant. An attitude that is much valued by agreeable people. Interesting. They do not like seeing someone's feelings get hurt and are concerned about the emotional state of others, preferring peace and harmony. They tend somewhat towards submissiveness rather than dominance, particularly if also below average in neuroticism. Interesting. People with moderately high levels of agreeableness are somewhat forgiving, accepting, flexible, gentle, and patient. They tend to feel pity for those who are excluded, punished, or defeated. Are they calling me a liberal? They generally feel that people should work cooperatively and are somewhat skeptical of competition. With its losers and winners, however, moderately agreeable people have to be careful not to be taken advantage of. So true. Particularly by disagreeable people, including those with criminal or predatory intent. They may also find it somewhat difficult to engage in arguments and may even avoid discussions. I actually get pulled into arguments quite easily. Is that what stirred up means? Fuck. Well, too late now. It says I can't take it again. Disagreeable people. They may also find it somewhat difficult with less agreeable people. That's true. It's hard to argue with less agreeable people. They have to work at bargaining for themselves or at negotiating for more recognition or power. What are we talking about? Power? Huh? You fascist? They may have somewhat lower salaries and earn less money. In consequence, All of their tendencies to avoid, reduce conflict, moderately agreeable people may be tempted to sacrifice medium to long-term stability and function for the sake of short-term peace. This can mean that problems that should be solved in the present can accumulate counterproductively across time. Holy shit. Jordan Peterson, are you actually involved with something that isn't total horseshit? Oh, I should have read the next line before I started saying that. Women are higher in agreeableness than men. The mean percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 61.5%. 61.5 for men. It is 38.5. For men, it is 38.5. Periods are confusing when you have numbers with decimal points. The fact that men are lower in agreeableness than women helps explain their much higher rates of criminal incarceration. 90%. Okay, so I'm not a criminal, according to Jordan Peterson. I guess that's good. The primary difference between criminal and non-criminals is disagreeableness. Interesting. If the typical criminal is more disagreeable than 98% of people in the general population, then almost all those criminals will be male. I don't like. Is this commentary appropriate for a personality test? Like, this is supposed to be about learning about myself, and now you're talking to me about the prison population? This feels weird. Okay, yeah, no, that's kind of, it sounds like this might be where this is going. In general population, then almost all those criminals will be male. This difference in agreeableness between men and women is largest in countries such as Norway and Sweden, where the most has been done to ensure equality of outcome between the sexes. This provides strong evidence that biological factors rather than environmental and learning account for dissimilarity. Oh, here come the eugenics. It's all in your genes. Okay. I spoke too soon a minute ago. All right. Agreeableness. The difference in agreeableness per se is not strongly associated. Wait, why are men still dicks in Norway? Isn't that what they just said? Okay. Agreeableness per se is not strongly associated with political liberalism or conservatism. I'm surprised he didn't take an opportunity here. But this is because the aspect of agreeableness predicts such political belief in opposite ways and cancel each other out. Okay. Liberals are higher in aspect compassion and conservatives in aspect politeness. That's not true anymore. Trump pretty much killed that. However, alliance with category of belief that has come to be known as politically correct. Why is this in here? Is strongly predicated by agreeableness, particularly compassion. What this appears to mean is that agreeable people strongly identify with those they deem oppressed. They deem oppressed. Using the word deemed implies that it is a personal judgment. It is not based on anything objective. They are implying that oppression cannot be objectively measured. This is literally there is political propaganda in this motherfucker. That's terrible. It didn't even say perceive as oppressed. Deemed is worse. It implies that's implying a bad faith interpretation of the people. It's implying that they are making a judgment. That's what they want you to think. Seeing them essentially as exploited infants and oh my god, what the fuck? No, I was right. That's exactly where they were going with it. Exploited infants and demonize those they see as oppressors, seeing them as cruel, heartless predators. The world actually is full of cold, cruel, heartless predators, man. And typically, they're looking to oppress. I don't know what you want, Jordan Peterson. I don't know what the fuck you want. I think it's pretty fucked up that you're putting all this political opinion shit into this test. Because while your test, I think, is pretty good, you're clearly using it to prop up weird fucking eugenics and political takes. And also, like, this swipe at political correctness. What do you fucking know about political correctness? There are large differences between men and women in terms of spontaneous interest, and these also appear associated with agreeableness. Agreeable people, caring as they do for others, are more likely to enter professions associated with people such as teaching and nursing, which are dominated by women. I don't want to do. Oh wait, I do teach, but it was not my goal. Dominated by women. This is true even in Scandinavian countries, where attempts to produce gender equal societies has reached a maximum. Oh my God, what the fuck? Disagreeable people, by contrast, appear to prefer systematizing blah, blah, over empathizing, and are more interested in things, machines, and technology. In consequence, professions such as engineering and trades associated with construction and machinery tend to be dominated by relatively disagreeable men. What? Are you calling people who work with their hands disagreeable? Like, agreeableness has two aspects: compassion and politeness. I scored moderately high on compassion. I'm in the 66th percentile. You are moderately high in compassion, which is one aspect of agreeableness. Your score puts you in the 66th percentile of compassion. If you were one of, we know what it means. Many moderately compassionate people are interested in the problems of others and other living things. They are concerned about helping other people avoid negative emotions. They make time to do kind things for others. Even when doing so, they may interfere with fulfilling their own needs and interests. They have a noticeable soft side. Other people consider them sympathetic and nice and will turn to them often for listening ear. They are empathetic and caring. However, because they are so other-oriented, they might find it difficult to negotiate on their own behalf and may not get what they deserve for their hard work. For example, that was the example. This may lead to feelings of resentment. Those who are liberal politically score somewhat higher in compassion than conservatives. I want to know how they know that, because I don't. I'll have to, if I notice it in the edit, I might say something. But I don't remember a part of this where they asked me what my political position was before the test. So how do they know? How do they know? Who do they ask? How do they know those line up? Where's that data? Women are higher in compassion than men. So, like, another thing here is they really want to push gender politics in this. They really want to push the idea, actually, it's sex politics. They want to push the idea that women are biologically different than men. That's a big part of this fucking thing. Women are also higher in compassion than men. The mean percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 61. For men, it's 39. They're making men sound like fucking psychopaths. Politeness, moderately high. 76th percentile. Moderately polite people tend to be deferential to authority and are generally obedient. Jesus. They are respectful and do not want to appear or to be pushy. They are more uncomfortable challenging other people than average. Moderately polite people will try to avoid conflict and basically desire to steer clear of confrontation. This actually does sound a lot like conservatives. Those who are liberal politically score somewhat lower in politeness than conservatives, because but that implies that conservatives are fucking cucks. That's what he's saying here. I thought you liked the conservatives. That definition of politeness is fucking terrible. Put some bubble water up in this bitch. Getting dry throat. Getting all Jordan Peterson's mealy dick up in there. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Grandma. I'm not going to apologize to you, Dad. I had to sit through your terrible jokes my whole childhood. I'm not going to apologize for that. For dick jokes at all. And yes, that is because you once got mad at me for telling a dick joke where I used the word dick instead of penis. Where was I? All right. Women are higher in politeness than men. So this is a thing where conservatives are more like women? The mean percentile of women in general population. Okay, he keeps this and men is 59. For men, it's 41. So so there's actually not a big difference on this one. This is actually a very close one. It's like 10 points out of, but like, so like he'll tie the men and women things to stats because he has those stats. But these comments on liberals and conservatives, maybe it asked me at the end, but like at this moment, he's not giving me the stats for it. And I have to assume these are conclusions he's just making to push an agenda because he has no data for it. Conscientiousness, whoa, exceptionally low in the 0 percentile. You are exceptionally low in conscientiousness, which is a primary dimension of dutiful achievement in the Big Five personalities scientific model. Conscientiousness is measured obligation. That's what you made it sound like politeness was. Attention to detail, hard work, persistence, cleanliness, efficiency. I'm not dirty. Efficiency and adherence to rules, standards. And I said I was in favor of rules, you dick. Standard and process, conscientious people implement their plans and establish and maintain order. I would not use the word conscientious for this. I understand that this means there are 99 people in the room more conscientious than me. Actually, technically, it's like 100. If it was possible, it'd be 100. Excuse me. People exceptionally low in conscientious due to consider duty as a virtue or an obligation. It's an obligation. My parents taught me the word obligation at a very young age, and it fucked me up. Instead, they regard those who slog away diligently at their tasks as suckers. I don't think that. Teachers, pets, and bootlickers. I don't think that. I have ADHD, you fucking ass. They will not even work hard if directly and continually pushed by outside forces, supervisors, spouses, friends, and parents, because you can't pressure ADHD, you motherfucker. It doesn't work. They can be exceptionally skilled at wasting time. You mean like taking this test? I guess I am wasting time taking your fucking test. And slacking off. I'll show you slacking off. And justifying it. Oh, shit. It's called a disorder, you dick. Is that me justifying it? Maybe. They are almost certain to procrastinate. True. Particularly if they are also above average in neuroticism. That at least makes sense. Even if they do commit to doing something, they will be late or delayed, even when there is absolutely no reason for failing to deliver. Wow. I can't wait to see where this is going. They inevitably formulate and deliver excuses for their failures. I actually don't make a lot of excuses. Or at least I didn't in college. Maybe I do now. They inevitably formulate and deliver excuses for their failure under such circumstances, blaming the situation for their problems with tasks, focus, and completion. They are not. He literally does not believe in ADHD. That's what this is. That is what this is. He is literally saying that people who have ADHD are blaming it on the ADHD. That is literally what is happening. What the fuck, Jordan? Focus? Blaming it on focus. They are not all decisive, neat, organized, future oriented. It's true, I'm not. Or reliable. I actually am decently reliable. Unless you're dating me. That's too much focus to be 100% reliable. I am less reliable these days, though. I do feel that. They're my bosses would say, "Hey, Ruben almost never called off sick." They find themselves constantly and continually distracted. I feel like I feel like some of these things are true, but like the way he's going about them is holy shit. He writes a lot about this one. People with exceptionally low levels of conscientiousness are very likely to obtain poor grades in academic settings. I was a B+ student, motherfucker. In college, I didn't get grades in my other grades, because I was homeschooled. Particularly if they are less intelligent and require far too much supervision to stay on task. This is beginning to feel ableist. For this reason, they make very poor managers and administrators. I am a bad administrator. They are not compelled to do things by the book, because you have to read the book to do them by the book. That's actually not true. I'm an artist, though. Like, literally, the rules in art exist so they can be broken. Ah, no, I spilled my drink. Oh, no, I made a terrible mark. I should have used the coaster. I didn't need to share that with you. People, I don't know where was I. This can perhaps be an advantage if they are engaged in creative tasks where rules must be broken for advancement take place. Okay. Exceptionally unconscientious people will not make a primary goal of career or education or accomplishment in general. Okay, I can't argue with that. Turning instead to pursuit of safety and security, if high in neuroticism, creative accomplishment, if high in openness, establishment of intimate relationships and friends, if highly agreeable. Okay, this is like what bothers me is that like some of this is very accurate to me, but at the same time, like the overall attitude I'm getting here is just abject ableism, and I hate it. Or social success. I don't care about social success. Excitement and fun if extroverted. Such people are the very opposite of achievement oriented, because achievements are a meaningless illusion. People exceptionally low in conscientiousness tend to be like he's just bagging on the existentially distressed. People exceptionally low in conscientiousness tend to be almost completely free of guilt, shame, self-disgust, and self-contempt. Whoa. Okay. I've got all of those in major amounts. So right here, we just hit the first thing that was so wrong. I mean, well, besides the ableist eugenics shit, but we just hit a part that was so wrong, it made me go, whoa, because I am not free of those things. I feel an insane amount of guilt, shame, self-disgust, self-contempt regularly, like on the daily, bro. So, explain that, Mr. Peterson. Other people, however, almost certainly to react negatively to their tendency to slack off and avoid responsibility, particularly if those other people are disagreeable and conscientious. Wait, what? Okay, wait, I'm confused there, but I literally feel, how can you be low on conscientious and conscientious? It's confusing. Individuals who are exceptionally low on conscientious appear completely unconcerned by failure. This is not true. I feel like a failure all the time. I mean, on a cognitive level, I am aware of the fact that failure is just a step in the learning process to become better. But I would never say that I was unconcerned with failure. In fact, a lot of the behaviors he describes earlier, I would really, a lot of psychiatrists attribute to being very concerned with failure. So this is actually a very interesting take. They're not at all judgmental. That's true. I'm not. Except of Jordan Peterson. Whatcha? To themselves or others, I'm very judgmental of myself. I am extremely judgmental of himself. He doesn't seem to understand that being judgmental of yourself can exist in the same body as not being able to accomplish things. Don't go see this man for therapy. Holy shit. And can easily and quickly formulate situational explanations for each instance of disappointment, frustration, or lack of success. You mean like your lack of success on Twitter, Jordan? They can handle periods of inactivity and unemployment with total ease. True. They chronically and habitually downplay the relationship between hard work, diligence, and success. Not true. Not true. I understand what he's saying there, and he's trying to associate a bunch of different things. But I don't downplay hard work and success. I'm not a get quick rich scheme guy. I started this podcast specifically because I was like, this is a thing I can keep doing. I can keep going with this. And I need to learn how to keep going with things. They chronically and habitually downplay the... Insisting instead that chance factors and luck in life play the only determining roles. Okay, so like right there, he's trying to create false dichotomies right there. Because that's like the thing is, it's both of those things. It's hard work and it's diligence and whatnot. But like there is luck involved. There is situational factors that come into play. And some people start the game with some serious advantages, man. Like money could compensate for a lot of my lack of success if I had it. Like I could use the money. I could just throw my money at my problems if I had enough money. And I would have done a lot of things by now if I just had a random amount of lots of money. Fuck. They live only for leisure and very much look forward to time off. I think he's just real. That's just called capitalist burnout, bro. I rarely ever meet people in regular square ass jobs who aren't working that way. Unless you're doing your dream job, that's how you work. I don't know if I've ever met anyone. I have met very few people who are like, this is who I am. And those people were kind of weird, to be completely honest. Chronically, they're completely concerned with clean. They're particularly when low in neuroticism. They can be exceptionally good at relaxing, taking it easy, and living in the moment, particularly when low in neuroticism. I wonder what it's going to say my neuroticism level is. Because I don't find it easy to relax. That's what all the drugs are for. People with exceptionally low in conscientiousness are much more likely to be politically liberals rather than conservative. This is particularly true if they are also high in openness. Where's the data? What's the percentile? How do you know that, Jordan? Where's it at? It sounds like you're just trying to build an argument and you're not supporting it with data. If you made this thing ask for data, maybe that data would exist, but you don't want to alienate people from taking it before they get to the part where you start to unload your political bullshit on them. Oh, wait. They are completely unconcerned with cleaning. That's not true. I mean, like, cleaning is something I forget about, but like at a certain point, it's like, oh God, I have to do something about this. Moral purity. I have been told I'm one of the most moral person. I have been told I'm one of the most moral people a person knows. Now, to be fair, I've only had one person tell me that, but the fact that anyone thought that about me is pretty cool. Thanks, Phil. You the man. Although the concept of moral purity is weird. Like, no one is morally pure by the definitions of morality. So I don't know what that. It's a weird way to, like, why doesn't it just say morality there? Like, what is. I don't know what he's going for there. An achievement. It's far more fun to be at the beach or at a party with a person exceptionally low in conscientiousness, but you don't want to invite them over on moving day or at any other time when something important has to be done. I am not bad at helping people. Oh God, what door have I opened? No, I did not just admit that I am not bad at helping people move and that I would easily be talked into helping people move. I am not those things. The study's right. I people should not ask me to move. I'll be bad at it and not good like I previously implied. What have I done? Women are slightly more conscientious than men. The mean percentile for women in general population. So this is the biggest difference between me and women, according to this thing, is 51.5. For context, mine was 0. For men, it's 49.5. Conscientiousness has two aspects: industriousness and orderliness. Oh my God. I am in the 0th percentile for industriousness. Holy shit. People who are exceptionally low in industriousness are extremely unlikely to be successful in school. Once again, I graduated magna cum laude. Wait, no, is it just cum laude? Whatever. There's 3 levels of the cum and loud, and I'm the bottom one. So that's not true. I got them grades, bitch. B+ student. Suck my dick. Particular and managerial positions. Please don't put me in a managerial position. Particularly if they are also less intelligent. If they are highly intelligent, they will almost certainly be regarded as underachievers by themselves and others. Is that how you guys see me? I might see myself that way. They don't regard work as worthwhile or important. That's like, what does that mean? What do you mean by worthwhile or important? Are you implying that jobs don't give me a sense of meaning? Because they don't. But like, objectively, jobs have value to work, has value to society. I don't know what he's trying to imply here. And are almost certain to procrastinate. Well, can't argue with that. Miss deadlines. Actually, I'm pretty good at getting. I can do deadlines. When I'm aware of deadlines, I can do them. Deadlines actually are what help me survive. I hate them, but they are what get me through. Or fail to complete assignments or projects completely. I am typically actually pretty good at completing assignments. They may arrive 10 minutes before the deadline, but I can do it. They shirk all responsibility. I don't know if I'd say that. I don't shirk responsibility. If someone else can be responsible for a thing, I will gladly let them be, but I take responsibility when I need to. Concentrating on fun, worry, relationships, excitement, creative endeavors. Why can't creative endeavors be industrious? Like, what's that? What is this personality test for? To determine who should be the working class? What the fuck are you talking about? They aren't all concerned with or interested in schedules. Being bad at schedules is different than not being interested in them. I am just bad at scheduling. It's overwhelming and stressful. Timelines or efficiency. I'm not opposed to efficiency, actually. I'm just not. Timelines, I don't know what. Like, literally, this just sounds like a bad, like, employee review. And are unlikely to complete their tasks, even if supervised excessively. That's not true. I respond to supervision. Fuck you. They lack focus and are far too easily continually distracted. It's called ADHD. It sounds like you don't acknowledge that it exists and you're writing it off as a personality defect. Fucking hate you, Jordan Peterson. People exceptionally low in industriousness are not at all judgmental to themselves or others. I am not judgmental of others. I am very judgmental of myself. They continually and habitually let people, including themselves, off the hook. I don't know how to let myself off the hook, but I probably let other people off the hook. They insist that people fail not because they don't apply themselves or work hard, but because chance and luck play the only determining roles. No one's what? That's stupid. Like, what the fuck? They are very resistant to guilt, self-disgust, or self-contempt. Once again, this part's just wrong. I feel those feelings constantly. Just wrong. And have a totally laissez-faire, whatever will be attitude towards life. I'm sorry, Jordan Peterson. Are you God? Do you know what's happening next? Can you control every aspect of life? What the fuck are you talking about? That's just called Zen, man. That's just called being aware of the fact that we are tiny people on a speck of dust floating through an infinite universe. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course, it's whatever will be towards attitude towards life. The opposite is a delusion. Those who are liberal and those who are conservative appear equally industrious. I'm surprised he didn't take that opportunity to make a cheap political point. Men are slightly more industrious than women. Oh, come on. The mean percentile for men in general population and women is 51.5 for men, and women it is 49.5. That's less than 1% difference. That's like within a margin of error. Some horse shit. Orderliness, very low, 5th percentile. People very low in orderliness are not at all disturbed, upset, or disgusted by mess, disorder, and chaos. That seems like a gross generalization. They just don't notice such things. Half true. Or if they do, they don't at all care. Also only half true. They see the world in shades of gray, because it is, and not in black and white, and are extremely non-judgmental and devil-may-care in their attitude towards themselves and others. I mean, I guess I can't argue with that, but this feels like a slam. It feels like he's making this a slam. They never use and positively dislike schedules, lists, or routines. And even if they plan, almost never implement those plans, preferring to take things as they come and letting chance determine the outcome. They are not at all orientated towards detail and are very rarely abide by rules or procedures. Well, that last part's not true. If I'm at a job and there's rules and procedures that I am aware, if there's like a legal procedure, I'm going to do it. People who are very low in orderliness cannot tolerate or establish any routine or predictability. I don't know. Maybe their schedules are extremely loose. I let other people dictate my schedule. That's part of my problem. Their time completely unscheduled and disruption doesn't bother them in the least. When you don't have a schedule, how can you tell what the disruption is? They require constant reminder and supervision to maintain attention and focus. Helps.
and are continually distracted and off task. They can, however, tolerate the mess, disruption, and intervening periods of chaos that may accompany creative endeavors. I am an artist. Those who are very low in orderliness are remarkably much less likely to be politically conservative. Orderliness is the second best predictor of conservatism after openness to experience. Wait, is openness to experience a I'm gonna need to see some data on these things, Jordan. Those who are very low in orderliness are remarkably much less likely to be politically conservative. Orderliness is okay. I read that. Women are more orderly than men. The mean percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 54.5% for women, and for men it is 45.5. This may account for some of the trouble in relation to housework between women and men. Since women are on average more orderly, household disorder will trigger disgust and discomfort in them faster. This may happen in sufficient frequency so that they end up doing a disproportionate share of such work. Even though if they waited a bit longer, their less orderly partners, often men, might end up equally troubled and motivated to fix the problem. Make an excuse for the penis owners. Orderly people are more likely to have items such as event calendars, drawer organizers, laundry baskets, irons, and ironing boards in their immediate environment. Extroversion low, 18th percentile. People with low levels of extroversion are much less enthusiastic, talkative, assertive in social situations, or gregarious. They find social contact somewhat draining and tiring. I was right. They are just counting a lack of extroversion as introversion. Bastards. Crave time alone to recharge. They are much less likely to plan parties, tell jokes, make people laugh. What the fuck? Or volunteer for community. Okay, so Jordan Peterson doesn't know any fucking comedians. A lot of fucking comedians are introverted. This is some dumbass shit. They are more likely to be depressed and to have lower levels of self-esteem, particularly if they are high in neuroticism. Can't wait to see that score. They tend to be much less optimistic about the past, present, and future. People who are low in extroversion find it easy to keep things to themselves. They are by no means compelled to share everything with everyone. They are not self-disclosing and do not warm up quickly to other people. They are much more comfortable with one-to-one interactions, true, than in a group-oriented situation. They rarely speak up in meetings and are particularly, because I don't want to, and particularly unlikely to speak first. It's not entirely true. There are situations where I speak first. Although they will express an opinion if asked, they are much less likely to captivate and convince, especially in groups, and will rarely be the first to act in an ambiguous situation. Well, I can't argue with that. I hate ambiguity. People who are low in extroversion are much better suited to occupations that require work alone. Oh, the irony of my codependency. Or with a few other well-known individuals, such as computer programming or accounting. I could not do those jobs. Wait a minute. Why is it talking so much about jobs? It's jobaganda. It's jobaganda. Jobs involving sales, persuasion, work in groups, and public speaking are quite unlikely to appeal to them. I act. That's public speaking. And they are less likely to be successful in such things, particularly if they are also high in neuroticism. Once again, he does not know much about comedians. People low in extroversion are unlikely to be
impulsive, even when offered the opportunity to do something exciting or fun. They are therefore actually have impulse control issues. However, I don't like surprise events. If you convince me to go to them, I will have a great time. But until I am there doing the thing, I will feel incredibly uncomfortable with it. If it's an event that came out of nowhere at me, there'll be a part of me that was already set on getting high and staying home and like watching anime or a DC movie. They find it relatively easy to be alone to study and work. Not true. Not true. I study much better in groups because I learn best by conversation. They are not easily distracted by opportunities to chat, joke, and socialize. I am very easily distracted by those things. This is particularly the case if they are also high in conscientiousness. However, when people are introverted and conscientious, they are less productive than when extroverted and conscientious. Perhaps because they have lower levels of energy. When introverted and comparatively unconscientiousness, when introverted and comparatively conscientious, there shouldn't be an in there. What the fuck are you doing on this website? However, they are more productive when extroverted and unconscientious. You did it right there. What the fuck? The third time's the charm, huh? People low in extroversion are less dominant in social situations, particularly when they are also low in agreeableness. Interesting. Less when they are also low in agreeableness. I thought high agreeableness made you less likely to be dominant. Less agreeable extroverts tend to be self-centered, something that can be made worse if they are also low in conscientiousness. More introverted people are somewhat protected against such tendencies. I have been although a lot of people will take your introvertedness for self-obsession, I have been told. People low in extroversion are less. Most introverted people are somewhat protected. Those who are politically liberal are slightly less extroverted than conservatives. Show me the data. Show me the data. Show me the data. Women are slightly more extroverted than men. The mean percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 52%, and for men it is 48%. These differences are within margin of error. I'm just going to point that out. A lot of these are within margin of error. Extroversion has two aspects, enthusiasm and assertiveness. Enthusiasm, 6th percentile. Individuals who are low in enthusiasm are quiet and unexcitable. They can be very hard to get to know, as they are not at all chatty or bubbly. When they do talk, and they do so comparatively rarely, when they're uncomfortable, maybe, but I can talk a lot. It tends to be about things in which they find exceptional interest. Are we just talking about the autism spectrum now? Someone go ask Jordan Peterson what conditions he believes exist. They open up to other people in difficulty, particularly in larger social gatherings or parties. They open up, with difficulty. And yes, social gatherings and parties are a hard place to open up to people. They laugh very much less frequently than others. I do laugh, but it sounds like an asthma attack. So if you ever hear me going, that's my laugh. I'm not dying. I don't have an inhaler. They are private people and on the loner side of the distribution. What? And tend not to be positive or optimistic. I am actually very optimistic for a depressed, neurotic, cynical piece of shit that I am. I don't know where that optimism comes from. They actively avoid the spotlight unless I'm on stage. But that is true. In everyday life, I'm like, why are you talking to me? And if creative, may find performing very much less desirable, even draining. Wrong. I don't know what that noise I just made was. They very rarely seek out stimulation, excitement. I am desperately understimulated frequently. Excitement, activity, or fun. I love fun. I just don't find a lot of things fun. And if they do so, they much prefer quieter activities. I guess. People with very low enthusiasm are solitary, finding it uncommonly difficult to generate felt sense of excitement when offered the opportunity to engage in something that others might find engaging or entertaining. Sports are fucking stupid. Enthusiasm is not strongly associated with political preference, either conservative or liberal. Women are higher in enthusiasm than men. The mean percentile for women in general population is 55, and for men it is 45. Okay. Assertiveness. I'm in the 47th percentile for this one. I actually scored higher on this than I expected. People of average assertiveness will sometimes take charge spontaneously, but often let other... Oh, okay, this does sound like me. Step in first. They can put forward their own opinions, but do not feel compelled to do so. This is spot on. They are not so particularly dominant and do not generally strive to control social situations. At times, they can act in an influential, captivating manner, but it is not habitual. They can act in ambiguous situations that will often let others lead the way. They tend not to be particularly impulsive. I do have some impulse control issues, but I don't tend to be like, hey, I'm going to drive across the city for no reason now. It's more like, oh shit, I just bought a thing on Wish I shouldn't have bought. Liberals tend to be slightly less assertive than conservatives. How is it possible to... With their definition of politeness, I don't understand how... I don't understand how politeness and assertiveness interact in this scale. Women are slightly less assertive than men. Women are in the 48th percentile, so women are 1% more assertive than me. For men, it is 50. That's actually really interesting because that means the difference is in the margin of error. That's only a 4% difference. Wait, did he say what his margin of error is? I assume the margin of error on most things is about 5%. I don't know what it is on this thing. Neuroticism, 86th percentile. There we go. They're the crazy. People with high levels of neuroticism are more likely to think that things have gone wrong in the past, are going wrong now, and will continue to go wrong in the future. They are also more likely to be unhappy, anxious, irritable when just thinking or remembering, and when they encounter a genuine problem. They have substantially lower average levels of self-esteem, particularly when they are also low in extroversion. Neuroticism is a risk factor for anxiety disorders and depression. Okay, so he admits those things exist. Although in fairness, based on the thing I read before this, because I'm already diagnosed with those things, I should not have been allowed to take this test. This is just a screen if you might one day be anxious or depressed. High levels of neuroticism may interfere with both success and satisfaction in relationships and career, with the strongest effect on relationships. True. High levels of neuroticism are associated with much more concern about mental and physical health, as well as more frequent physician and emergency room visits. Not until I was older because I didn't have insurance. Much more absenteeism. I don't actually take a lot of absenteeism from work. I think this is him slamming people with disorders. Fucking show us the data. He doesn't show data for a lot of these things. He just doesn't. There's no, like, he's he's extrapolating from data, but he's not telling but like the conclusions are not actually illustrated. Has this test been right about a lot of stuff about me? Yeah, but like his conclusions of general population are not supported. Like he's not supporting them with actual numbers, which is interesting, because you would think the test would give him numbers. But then again, the test also doesn't ask for these things. All right. Where were we? And work in school, particularly if accompanied by low levels of conscientiousness. I almost always went to class. I had very good attendance. People with high levels of neuroticism appear to be much more risk averse than average, which means they tend to avoid recreational, career, financial, and social situations where possibility of loss is high. Yeah, that's probably accurate. Such people appear to be much more concerned with maintaining their current status rather than enhancing it. Perhaps this is a good strategy in genuinely dangerous or uncertain times. Neuroticism is not a powerful predictor of political belief, either conservative or liberal. I secretly suspect that Jordan Peterson might be neurotic. Females tend to be higher in neuroticism than males. The typical woman is higher in neuroticism than 60% of the general population of men. That's interesting. He didn't compare it that way before. And of men and women combined. What? In part, this may be why women report more unhappiness in their relationships at work, in school, and with their health than men. On average, and why women initiate 70%. Why is this in here? Why does that matter? Like, why do some of these points matter? Like, 70% of all women, like, why are there gender politics in here? Is he trying to make gender politics look like objective assessments? Like, he's trying to back up his political beliefs with these assessments. That's what's happening. This difference is neuroticism between men and women appear to emerge at puberty. It is largest in countries such as Norway and Sweden, where the most has been done he keeps mentioning this to ensure quality of outcome between the sexes. This provides strong evidence that biological factors rather than environment and learning account for the dissimilarities. Trait: neuroticism is made up of aspects of withdrawal and volatility. Withdrawal, high, 97th percentile. Individuals exceptionally high in withdrawal may feel, I am exhausting myself, by the way, may feel extreme levels of anticipatory anxiety. This makes it unusually challenging for them to approach new, uncertain, unexpected, threatening, or complex situations. They are instead extremely more likely to avoid or withdraw in the face of unknown and unexpected. I mean, I would make the better choices in a horror movie. People exceptionally high in withdrawal are usually more likely to feel sad, lonesome, disappointed, and grief-stricken. Okay, I can't argue with any of this. They have exceptionally high levels of doubt and worry, become embarrassed easily, and are self-conscious and get discouraged rapidly in the face of threat and punishment. Their anticipatory anxiety is extremely likely to be general. They are very sensitive to social rejection and can be easily hurt. Once hurt, frightened, or anxious as well, it takes them a long time to recover. Perhaps people exceptionally high in withdrawal are extremely concerned that something bad might happen, while people exceptionally high in volatility, other aspects of neuroticism, get very upset if something bad does happen. Technically, withdrawal has been associated with activities in the brain system that regulate passive avoidance. I scored 97th percentile with this. Those who are liberal politically are slightly higher in withdrawal than conservatives. Once again, I'd like to see the data for that. but it is an interesting statement. Women are higher in withdrawal than men, because of all the generational trauma. The mean percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 60. For men, it is 40. You would think with men having a higher level of antisocial personality disorders, that they might be higher than that. Volatility, typical or average, 48th percentile. And individuals of average volatility tend not to be very abnormal, tend not to vary. Who is doing the grammar here? Individuals average in volatility tend to not to vary abnormally in their mood. Oh, okay, I understand it now, but I still think it's a weird sentence. They are particularly irritable and feel no more than typical levels of disappointment. That's not true. I feel a lot of disappointment. Frustration, pain, and social isolation. I am good at being alone. They express their frustration, disappointment, and irritability reasonably and not excessively often. Even when stirred up and upset or angry or irritated, they calm down relatively quickly. Can. Even when they are no more argumentative than average and infrequently lose their composure. I am actually easily baited into arguments, so that part is not true. But they didn't ask. If they asked that question, they asked it with then it was that dumb fuck. Are you easily stirred up question? Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. If provoked in a dispute, a person of average volatility may react in kind, particularly also low in agreeableness. However, such people generally remain calm and unperturbed, even when stressed. When I'm stressed, it's harder to keep it together. I can't lie. Volatile people tend to get upset if something bad does happen, while people high in withdrawal, the other aspect of neuroticism, tend to be very concerned that something bad might happen. Technically, volatility has been associated with the activity in the brain systems that regulate fight, flight, or freeze. This makes sense. Volatility is not strongly related to political preference, either liberal or conservative. I want to see the data. I'm kidding. He doesn't need to show data for that, although he is technically making a claim that he does not back up with data. Women are higher in volatility than men. The mean percentile for women in the general population, women is 57.5%, and for men it is 42.5%. That's only 5%. I don't even like when it's in the margin of error. Does it even fucking matter? Openness to experience moderately high. I'm in the 68th percentile. People with moderately high levels of openness to experience are somewhat more likely than average to be characterized by others as smart, creative, exploratory, intelligent, and visionary. They tend to be more interested in learning and in acquiring new abilities and skills. They are curious and exploratory. They find themselves interested in abstract thinking, philosophy, and meaning of belief systems and ideologies. They attend cultural events such as movies, concerts, and dance recitals, plays, poetry readings, gallery openings, and art shows. They are likely to enjoy writing. They enjoy complex abstract ideas more than the average person, likely to confront and solve problems. They are likely to be readers with wider range of interests. They have broader, deeper vocabulary. They can think and learn quite quickly. They are comparatively proficient at formulating new ideas and tend to be particularly, if average or above in extroversion, articulate. They pretend to be articulate, particularly if average or above in extroversion. People moderately high in openness can sometimes see old things in new ways. They can formulate problems in diverse range of ways and can typically generate a reasonable number of problem-solving situations. They enjoy change. I do not. Often to make things better, but also just for the sake of change. People who are moderately high in openness to experience are somewhat less well adapted to situations or occupations that are routinized and predictable. Okay, that one's true. They have some trouble fitting in the bottom. They have trouble fitting in at the bottom of hierarchies. They are less situated to entry-level, repetitive, rote positions because they often think up new ways to do things and such ideas and are seldom welcome from someone at the bottom. They are creative thinkers. They tend to shake things up a bit, particularly if they are also disagreeable and assertive, and may be attracted to more revolutionary ideas, particularly if below average in conscientiousness. Individuals moderately high in openness to experience tend to be entrepreneurial in spirit, as well as smarter and more creative. Aw, they think I'm smarter. Well, smarter than Jordan Peterson. They have more than an average interest in creative new ventures, sometimes for profit, sometimes for curiosity, and sometimes for personal transformation. At least moderately high levels of openness to experience appear necessary to the formation and leadership of businesses and other forms of complex organizations. Although conscientiousness appears required for the attention to detail and process management such as organizations also need. People moderately high in openness to experience tend to be interested in many things. However, they can typically settle on a single path in life to specialize to a necessary degree, to create integrated identity, unless they are very high or above neuroticism, or very low in or below average in conscientiousness. People characterized by the combination of moderately high openness to experience and very high above levels of neuroticism can undermine their own convictions and beliefs by questioning, making themselves lost and anxious. Open, unconscientious people tend to be underachievers. I guess so. Particularly if also above average in neuroticism. Such people appear to have the capability to succeed, can learn quickly, and are creative, but they can have some trouble implementing their ideas. Openness to experience is the dimension that best predicts political allegiance, with conscientious, particularly the aspects of orderliness, coming in a second place. Those who are liberal politically are very much more likely to have high openness to experience than conservatives. Women and men may very little in openness to experience at the trait level, although there are differences in the aspect levels. Traits to openness experience is made up of the aspects of intellect and openness. I am in the 41st percentile for intellect. People of what on this fucking test measures intellect? People typical in intellect can be interested in ideas and abstract concepts. Okay, I see that. They don't mind and sometimes enjoy being confronted with novel information. However, if it's complex, they are as curious as the average person and occasionally like to tackle and even if it's complex, they are as curious as the average person and occasionally like to tackle and solve intellectual problems. They are sometimes compelled to engage in philosophical discussions and to enjoy complex books, frequently non-fiction. But more straightforward issues and topics are generally sufficient. They are acceptably articulate and can formulate and communicate their ideas reasonably well, particularly if average or higher in extroversion. They have a vocabulary of normal breadth and depth. That's not what I put. And can enjoy learning new things. Occasionally, they will seek out or generate novel, creative concepts and adapt well to new experiences and situations. People typical or average in intellect sometimes find complex, rapidly changing occupations less to their liking and are reasonably likely to do well at them. Rapidly changing occupations less to their liking and are reasonably likely to do well at them, particularly if they are also high in conscientiousness or low in neuroticism. Wait, they're good at it, but they'll hate it? Is that what that means? They are also well suited to stable, straightforward, and more traditional occupations where the rules for success are well defined and tend not to change. although they may experience sporadic periods of boredom in such positions. Liberals are higher in intellect than conservatives. Whoop, whoop, sick burn. Okay, anyways, although also, where's the data? Although the biggest difference between the two is openness to experience at the trait level. Women are lower than men in intellect, although not in IQ. There's that dreaded eugenics word again. This is probably a difference in interest. People in high in intellect compared to openness are more likely to prefer the sciences to the arts. Well, I definitely prefer the arts. The means percentile for women in general population, women and men, is 45. For men, it is 55. Openness, high, 84th percentile. The closest synonym for openness rather than openness to experience, which encompasses openness and intellect, is creativity. Highly open creative people love beauty. They need an outlet for their creative abilities, or they have difficulty thriving. They want to be surrounded by art or beautiful crafts. I hate crafts. They are sensitive to color and architecture form. They like to collect things. They are imaginative and like to daydream and reflect on things. True. They are affected comparatively deeply by music. Negatively. Often of many genres, and may be musical or artistic themselves. Both of these are rare in the general population. They can get thoroughly immersed in a book or a movie or in their own thoughts and become somewhat oblivious to the outside world. They respond strongly to beauty, creativity, and art. Highly open and creative people can be impractical and flighty, however, particularly if low in conscientiousness. It can be extremely difficult to transform creativity into money or into a career. True, but fuck you, but true. High levels of openness are furthermore necessary for entrepreneurial success. Are you suggesting I invest money in things? I hate you. Eat a dick and die. That last part will make him cry if he ever listens to this. And often prove useful at the top of hierarchies. Gross. Even in very conservative occupations such as banking, accounting, and law, which need creative people in leadership positions to provide new vision and direction. Liberals are higher in openness than conservatives, although the biggest difference between the two is openness to experience at the trait level. Women are higher in open. Where is the data? Why do you never show the data for the conservative and liberal thing? Also, liberal is such a limited part of the political spectrum. Women are higher in openness than men. The mean percentile of women in general population, women and men, is 56.5% for women, and for men it is 44.5%. Oh, Jesus, that's it. That's the whole thing. Oh, I don't get one of them weird. I thought I'd get one of them weird star-shaped motherfuckers. Oh, but that's... Oh, thank God that's over. I'm so tired and hungry and... Oh, wait, shit. Sorry, you just saw a meme on my Facebook there. Hopefully there was no other incriminating things up there. I'm kidding. I use this computer for work. There's nothing incriminating on it. I'm not dumb. Okay. Oh, man. So that was exhausting. What are the takeaways? Well, it's hard to know if you should trust personality tests. Now, this one is supposedly made by professional psychiatrists, although they are professional psychiatrists who did not once mention ADHD in a bunch of segments that sounded like they could be about ADHD. Like he said, could be signs of being vulnerable to depression or anxiety, but not once did he suggest that people might be vulnerable to ADHD if they have these personality traits, which I think is highly questionable. From people who are supposedly professionals. I thought some of the language was incredibly judgmental, and also like it's definitely politically slanted. Like, I don't know, it's clear that there are agendas underlying some of the statements. The personality test itself seems pretty good, but like it seems like he's specifically using the personality test to put out several things, one of which is men and women are different aganda, job aganda, and liberal conservative aganda type deal. And that I don't appreciate. All right. Well, if you actually listen to this all the way through, thank you. And you now know more about me than you need to. I'm flattered. I hope you found it funny or amusing. Enjoy, and hopefully I just saved you some money. Honestly, anything to not give money to Jordan Peterson is good, because Jordan Peterson is a shameless grifter pushing political agendas down our throats. And it's very clear from his test that he's doing that. His psychology doesn't seem, I mean, like some of that stuff felt spot on for me, but without me knowing the total, like without going into like how it operates, and without him providing some of the data he kept claiming aligned, it would be very difficult for me to, know if this is like scientifically legit, or, it's just that thing like with horoscopes where you hear it and you're like, oh, that does sound like me. So yeah. Don't give Jordan Peterson your money. The test's kind of ableist. Even if the findings seem accurate, some of the conclusions are very ableist and politically guided. Yeah. I feel like this podcast, please share it with people. Please listen to my other episodes. Please give positive feedback on whatever podcast provider you are getting my show from. You can email the show at rubenuncut@gmail.com. And you can leave a voicemail at my Anchor at rubenuncut. I don't remember what it's called. It's on Anchor FM. All right. Well, thank you for listening. I'm going to go eat something because, good God. All right. All right. Peace out. I love you all. After answering all the questions, your answer to the Jordan Peterson personality test is as follows. You're a white mermaid.